After exactly 4 long years of feverish anticipation, the Tesla Cybertruck is here. It's real, and while it may not be everything that we wanted it to be, the production Cybertruck is shockingly good. Let's just get straight into it. So, of course, the big headline going around is that Elon Musk has personally delivered the first 10 production Cybertrucks to some very lucky owners. We're not sure who these people are or how they were chosen for such a prestigious role. They all seemed very excited to meet Elon Musk for the first time, so they don't appear to be company insiders or any funny business like that. The real story, though, the most important point of the day, is that there are many more Cybertrucks to come, and they are coming soon. Prior to the actual event, attendees were taken on a walking tour of the brand new Cybertruck production line at Giga Texas, and of course, most of those people live streamed their experience, so we've seen pretty much everything that is going on behind the scenes on the Cybertruck production. And what we saw were a lot of Cybertrucks in various stages of completion. Now, obviously they are not running the line at full speed with a few dozen pedestrians wandering around, but we get the very real sense that Cybertrucks are actively being constructed and finished at a reasonably fast pace. Many people had feared that we might see a repeat of the Tesla Semi, where a dozen or so first production models were released, and then basically nothing has followed for at least a year now. This will not be the case with Cybertruck. If you live in a US city, you will probably see a real live Cybertruck on the road before too long. Alright, let's talk about the specs. Again, we had some concerns going into this that Tesla would remain tight-lipped about the actual details of their production model Cybertrucks, but this was also not the case. And I know you all want to know about the brand new mystery spec, and I do have a little info on that, but we'll get there in just a little bit. So here's the scoop. We currently have 2 variations in production, the Cyberbeast and the all-wheel drive. Cyberbeast is a tri-motor powertrain, so we are confirmed for now at least that the 4-motor Cybertruck was just a figment of Elon's imagination. It does not exist. With a 123 kilowatt-hour battery pack, Cyberbeast has an estimated range of 320 miles. This is not an EPA rating like you see on other vehicles, just something to note. 0 to 60 time is 2.6 seconds and 130 mile per hour top speed. Tesla also stated that the quarter-mile time for this variant is 11 seconds, which is bonkers considering that the weight of this vehicle is 6,843 pounds. That's thanks to 845 horsepower and an earth-shattering 10,296 foot-pounds of torque. For all of that, the Cyberbeast will set you back a cool 100 Gs. Do you ever feel like you're being watched? There's a reason you don't see any of the faces or names of the people behind this channel, and that's because we all value our privacy. But you know who doesn't value privacy? Data brokers. Data brokers will scour the depths of the internet to collect as many data points on as many people as they possibly can. That's stuff like your full name, email address, phone number, photographs, even social security, and a lot more. Then they sell that information to all kinds of nefarious organizations who want to exploit your data for their own gains. In 2020, the Canada Revenue Agency was hacked and all of my tax information was sold off to data brokers who then resold that to marketing agencies and online directories. It sucked. This is where I found Delete Me. Delete Me is a hands-free subscription service that will remove your personal information that's being sold online. The privacy experts at Delete Me know where to find the lists that contain your data and how to get it removed as quickly as possible. The great thing about Delete Me is that this is a permanent solution to data theft. Because nothing on the internet ever truly goes away, Delete Me will continue monitoring the web and removing my information every time that it returns. This is why we are so excited to finally have Delete Me on as a sponsor for this channel. When you sign up for a Delete Me subscription, they will send your first privacy report in just 7 days so that you can see for yourself how many data brokers and websites have been hosting your personal information. From here, the privacy experts will begin to remove all of your personal data from those directories. Then Delete Me will repeat the removal process as many times as needed all year round. So get your own privacy report by signing up for Delete Me at joindeleteme.com/TeslaSpace20 and use our promo code TeslaSpace20 to receive 20% off any of their consumer plans. I honestly think you might be shocked to see just how much of your personal information is out there on the internet, and there's one way to find out. Join deleteme.com/TeslaSpace20. The all-wheel drive version is going to be the preferred option for most people at a much more friendly price tag of $80,000 before incentives. As far as we can tell, the only thing you lose with this option package is the third motor and the extra speed that it brings to the table. But that does gain you a bit of range, now 340 miles estimated, and 0 to 60 is 4.1 seconds, which is still extremely fast for any car, but it's damn fast for a pickup truck. Top speed is also down now at just 112 miles per hour. That's not actually very fast. There are cars with much less power that will go faster, so there definitely are some limitations that come with this size and weight of the vehicle. All-wheel drive is rated at 600 horsepower and 7,435 foot-pounds of torque, which is still significantly more torque than you will ever need. Interestingly, both the Cyberbeast and all-wheel drive are rated at 11,000 pounds of towing capacity, so clearly this has nothing to do with the limits of the powertrain and is actually limited by the strength of the vehicle itself. Case in point, Tesla demonstrated their Cyberbeast competing in a towing challenge against some other notable pickup trucks, the F-150 Lightning, the Rivian R1T quad motor, and the super heavy-duty Ford F-350 diesel. This work truck was the reigning king of the sled pull. This is a contest where trucks pull a 40,000-pound sled in a straight line for as long as they can go until something fails. The F-350 pulled the sled 264 feet. The Cyberbeast pulled the sled 317 feet. Another similarity between the two Cybertruck options is going to be the wheel and tire package. For now at least, there are only 20-inch rims with 35-inch all-terrain tires. They're not the chunkiest tire ever, but they are a lot more aggressive than regular all-season tires. Okay, now let's talk about it, because I know everyone is dying to get more info on this mysterious new spec. Tesla lists a second range calculation on their spec sheet for Cybertruck with something called range extender. So what the hell is that? Well, as far as we can tell from initial reports, the range extender is literally a second battery pack that you can buy from Tesla. It connects into that little cubbyhole space underneath the bed, and it will boost the range by another 120 miles or more. Apparently, the cost for this add-on is going to be $16,000. We do not know when that is going to be available. For now, both variations of the Cybertruck come with the same battery pack. It's a 123 kilowatt-hour structural pack. From what we saw in the factory tour, it looks to be very similar in design to the Model Y structural pack. Oh, and let's not forget that the single-motor rear-wheel drive is alive and well as an option package. This is not something we had expected to return, but we are very happy to see it. You can still get a relatively affordable Cybertruck, affordable by modern standards at least, which means it's still going to cost $61,000. Anyway, this option will still give a respectable 250 miles of range and a 0 to 60 of 6.5 seconds. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with this option, especially for those people who will only ever drive their truck around the city and never actually use it for truck-specific tasks. There are many of these people out there, and this option package is not in production right now, but Tesla says that it will be available sometime in 2025. Okay, let's move on from the spec sheet to some real-world reviews of the Cybertruck. MKBHD just posted his 40-minute hands-on review of the Cyberbeast option package. That's pretty long, so we're going to highlight the key findings right here for you. This is fascinating. Real-world measurements of the production Cybertruck show that it is actually 5% smaller than the initial prototype vehicle from 2019. Elon Musk had previously said that Tesla only shrunk the Cybertruck by 3%, but they ended up with a full 5% reduction. Overall, this makes Cybertruck just slightly smaller than the Ford F-150 in all exterior dimensions. However, Cybertruck does manage to beat the F-150 in a few key size figures, most importantly in terms of windshield wiper. The Cybertruck features the world's largest windshield wiper. Okay, for real, we're going to stop talking about the wiper. It is what it is, we're over it. But where the Cybertruck does manage to beat the F-150 is overall bed length. According to real-world measurements, the Cybertruck bed is a full 72 inches in length. That's 6 inches more than the electric F-150. Now, there is one caveat to this. The Cybertruck does have an overhang at the top of the bed where the cover rolls out. So the overall bed length at the top is 66 inches from overhang to tailgate, but realistically, this should never be an issue. The Cybertruck bed has a factory-applied liner. It's a carbon composite liner material, probably very similar to GMC Carbon Pro bed liner. It should be virtually indestructible, and even if the liner does get compromised, it's covering an ultra-strong stainless steel alloy that Tesla has formulated to be corrosion resistant, so durability of the truck bed should never be an issue. The bed also has LED lights and latching points installed for convenience, and there are dual 120-volt power outlets plus one 240-volt outlet, so you could charge another Tesla with a level 2 charger from the bed of the Cybertruck. Or you could power your house. PowerShare is a brand new option for Tesla that is exclusive to the Cybertruck, and it allows you to send 11 kilowatts of power from the battery pack to your home. If you already have a Tesla Powerwall battery at your house, this is literally a plug-and-play system, but if you don't have a Powerwall, you just need to buy a separate inverter to connect the truck to the home. Let's talk about the front trunk. It is small, but not so small that it's useless. Marquez was able to fit 2 rigid-shelled airplane carry-on bags into the front trunk, just barely, but they did fit, and that's more than we would have expected just from looking at it. Moving up to the windshield, this is the single largest piece of automotive glass in the world. It presents a spectacular view of the sky, but a less optimal view of anything in front of the truck. So MKBHD is a pretty tall dude, and he was having serious issues with being able to see anything in front of the truck through the windshield, which is troubling. I'm afraid I'm going to look like Hans Moleman trying to drive this damn thing if I ever manage to get one. But in order to mitigate this issue, Tesla has installed a front bumper camera on the Cybertruck to monitor that particular blind spot for you. Speaking of blind spot, there is a rear view mirror in the Cybertruck, but it is mostly useless. The rear cabin window is tiny, and obviously with the bed covered down, it's not a functional window at all. So what Tesla has done is integrated the rear camera view into the center display, and it is always on. You can move the rear video feed around on the screen to customize, but this is going to be your only way to see what's behind you in a Cybertruck. For whatever reason, Tesla did not do one of those rear view mirrors that can flip between mirror and screen. I've seen those in other cars. It would be more intuitive to have the video feed up there and not in the middle, but Tesla will Tesla. Anyway, inside the truck looks very nice, very minimalist. As you'd expect, the materials also look nice. One interesting feature is that the design language from the exterior continues through to the interior. There are no curves to the interior design of the Cybertruck. Even the speaker grills are all hard angles. The only round thing really is the steering wheel, and yes, it is a steering wheel and not a yoke thing like the Model S. There's a lot to talk about here, so stick with me. A major standout feature of the new Cybertruck is the steering. This is a big deal. Not only does the production model have 4-wheel steering, but it also features steer-by-wire controls, and that means there is no mechanical linkage between the interior steering wheel and the exterior road wheels. Instead, steering input is sent through a computer which will manipulate the 4 wheels based on current driving conditions. This is pretty crazy. So, because of the steer-by-wire, you never have to fully rotate the Cybertruck steering wheel. In fact, you can't physically spin the wheel. It only has around 180 degrees of movement, so 90 degrees left, 90 degrees right. That's about as far as the wheel will go. The way this works is that when the truck is moving slowly, a small amount of movement to the interior wheel will translate to a large amount of movement on the exterior wheels. When the truck is moving faster, it will take a larger amount of movement of the interior wheel to get a small amount of movement in the exterior wheels. Everyone follow? Now we have to factor in the rear wheel steering. When the truck is moving at speeds below 40 miles per hour, the rear wheels will turn up to 10 degrees in the opposite direction of the front wheels. This effectively shrinks the wheelbase of the truck and tightens up the turning circle. The Cybertruck can actually turn a tighter circle than the Model S. And going a step further, above 40 miles per hour, the rear wheels will actually turn a very slight degree in the same direction as the front wheels. This will help to smooth out the steering performance during slight maneuvers like lane changes. If this technology all works the way it is intended, then the Cybertruck should never feel cumbersome to maneuver, even though it is very long, and it should also never feel jerky or unstable, even though it is very heavy and sits very high off the road. This would be a major accomplishment in pickup truck engineering, again, if it all pans out. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens when the Cybertruck begins to take over the roads of the United States. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please consider supporting us directly on Patreon and hit the like button. If content like this starts to perform well for us, then we can continue to make a lot more high quality videos for you in the future.